Communication is a widely shared trait in the animal kingdom, but language is a unique human tool used to facilitate communication. This truth is often downplayed by the myth that animals are capable of learning human language. Many efforts have been made to uncover the linguistic capabilities of animals, but they have all come short in matching the human level. The most popular effort involved Coco the gorilla, who was placed in a lifelong language program by her instructor, a psychologist named Francine Patterson, who claimed that Coco was able to use a modified form of American Sign Language to communicate. Coco could replicate more than 1,000 signs representing English vocabulary and perform those signs to express feelings like guilt or hunger, but she wasn't using signs in the systematic way humans do. She memorized signs and then repeated them. She did not use them spontaneously. In other words, she relied on visual cues and prompts, and much of the signing depended heavily on the interpretation of her instructor. Vocabulary is only a fraction of the real structure of human language. Coco was only engaging in one step in the ladder of language. What truly defines language is structure, the structure of combining words and signs into phrases and ordering those phrases into well-formed sentences to convey ideas. Animals using language is a myth deeply rooted in culture, beginning around 5,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamian literature, with the talking eagle and snake. This tradition would carry on to ancient Greek mythology, where language was seen as an ability granted by the divine rather than a learned behavior by humans. Although most ancient cultures have used talking animals in a symbolic rather than literal sense to convey deeper meaning, differing interpretations of this literature have led some people to believe that animals are capable of learning human language. This idea has been absorbed by societies over time, leaving the question open to personal belief instead of being clarified by hard evidence. But now, the hard evidence tells us that language is uniquely human. Although animals like apes or dogs can communicate their needs and desires to people through manual or verbal signals, they cannot convey abstract meanings, let alone in a consistently systematic manner. Take gray parrots, for example. The gray parrot is considered to be the most accurate in repeating human language and is thought to be capable of the largest vocal vocabulary out of any other animal. Its unique vocal structure allows for a complex variety of words and phrases. They can talk, but the sounds don't form language. They repeat sounds they hear, especially those from stressful situations or experiences, but they can't come up with their own systematic structure of sounds to express an idea of their own. The same logic applies to animals that have the capacity to understand commands, like dogs. When raising puppies, trainers will repeat words like sit over and over again until the puppy sits. Once they sit, they get rewarded with a treat or high-pitched sounds of praise. This triggers positive reinforcement and encourages the puppies to remember the exact command and the exact action they took after hearing the command, because that action resulted in a reward. But they obey the command for the sake of the reward, not from understanding the abstract idea of what it means to sit. Some may argue for a case for certain breeds like bloodhounds, who will obey commands regardless of a treat. Hounds listen to their handlers for the sake of pleasing them, for retrieving game because that's what they've been bred to do. However, they still get a reward but more delayed. Their brains tell them to obey their owners because their owners are the source of food, shelter, and safety, a trait dating back to when dogs were first domesticated. Understanding language instead of just commands, however, would mean for the dogs to understand the abstract concept of hunting and retrieving, not simply understanding what to do in a split situation. Stepping back from what it means to speak and understand language, there are key biological differences to note between humans and all animals that enable us to express the abstract world that is possible through language, all of which starts in the brain. For perspective, the human brain is considered to be the most complex system in the known universe. No system comes close to the complexity and precision that happens every second in our brains. This makes room for our ability to form language. The human brain even has areas like the Wernicke area and Broca area that are specified to analyze language and produce original language by organizing words and phrases. No other species, including primates, parrots, and dogs, have areas dedicated to receive, analyze, understand, and produce language. The myth that animals are capable of human language is still prevalent. Significant consequences can happen when people apply this false logic in their interactions with animals. Wild animals see their own survival as their top priority and will take any measure to ensure it. When we interact with animals, oftentimes we do not recognize the animal's attitude and focus on survival. which is exactly the recipe for violent responses. This is why it is so important to understand our place in the world and how distinct we are in the animal kingdom. Not only does it keep us safe, but it will advance the world's understanding what language truly is.